Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Sleepless Starlight, and today I will be drawing the most rainbowy pastel character I possibly can because beige is for peasants. Anyway, so I'm going straight in with a rough sketch, just trying to get my ideas down onto paper before I start getting down to the nitty gritty details. I wanted this girl to have a very flowy, big dress with lace and ribbons and bows, I was trying to add as many little things that I could color in as possible because I wanted just colors to be everywhere. So I didn't record doing the rough sketch on Clip Studio Paint because it's boring to see the same thing happen twice. So I just decided to get straight to the line art part. So basically, I just wanted to add as many little details as I possibly could in this drawing, so every single one of them can have different colors and just everything could be very rainbowy and pastel and bright. And I don't know, as someone with anxiety, sometimes just creating the most rainbowy, sparkly, pastel, vibrant thing you possibly can is like a cathartic, I suppose. So I'm going into the hair now, just trying to get every little detail down. I decided to add little bows to her hair and pigtails because I thought that would be absolutely adorable. So I'm quickly trying to get down the pigtails, and I got down the back of her hair as well. Since there are so many details in this rough sketch, it was a little bit tricky to see what I was doing because so many things were happening at once. But I want for a lot to be going on at once because the more things I have, the more details I have added, the more things I'm able to color in, and the more rainbowy things I'm able to add. I don't know why, but I just wanted to really unleash my inner child for this one. I just wanted to make things as vibrant and colorful as I possibly could. Honestly, I was kind of just like very trying to rush through the line art a little bit because I wanted to get to coloring as soon as possible because that sounded like the funnest part to me. So, of course, I had to be a little bit careful with the line art as well. I'm trying to make sure all the details line up together pretty well. I decided to have one of her hands have a glove and the other one have a little bracelet because I thought that would be just, I thought some asymmetricalness would be really nice. Anyway, I added a really big bow to the middle of her dress, and I made sure to add lots of lace and ruffles and ribbons because, I don't know, I guess this drawing is just like me letting my inner child go wild, I suppose. In this drawing, I wanted everything to be very random and asymmetrical. So, like, for this bow, there's a heart in the middle of it. For this one, there's a star. And basically just wanted out there to be lots of shapes and colors and just nothing really seems to be in an order. It's all just random and placed in a fun way to make everything just seem a little bit chaotic. A beautiful, controlled-ish chaotic. I added a little like heart stack tower thing to the heels because if I only drew normal heels, it would start to get a little bit boring, so I thought I should spice things up a little bit. Now I'm working on the face, and I wanted to give her a very cheerful and happy expression. So once I was finished with that, I could finally get on to actually coloring in the piece. So I'm just adding my color scheme to the top left of the screen, and now I'm coloring everything in a little bit, just a base color, and then I'm going to go over everything, and basically I just wanted every single color to be in this hair in different strands. So now I'm beginning with this process. I tend to use this streak method for all my other drawings. Now I'm just adding every single color I possibly can, just making everything seem random and vibrant and colorful, all in just her hair too. And now you can start to see what I'm trying to aim for coming together. You can see the colors, and this kind of reminds me of Princess Celestia from My Little Pony. But anyway, now I'm coloring in the outfit. This character definitely seems like the sort of person who would not let any challenges get them down. Like, she seems very cheerful and she'd just shrug off if something bad happened, like if she failed a quiz or, I don't know, forgot her wallet at home. I don't know. So she just seems like a very cheerful and happy person, and just like she wants to surround herself with all the things that give her joy. I imagine that she may be, sometimes it's called childish, but, she just doesn't let it get to her, which I think is really admirable. So now I'm doing a similar process to what I do for the hair, But this time I'm going in with some gradients of different colors for her dress. Now I'm going to kind of swirl them together a little bit, and just adding as much as I can to make the dress itself seem very vibrant and colorful. This way the dress isn't just one plain color. Now I'm moving on to those beautiful poofy sleeves, and now I'm starting to experiment with twirling around the stuff a little bit, the dress I mean. But in the end, the original thing seemed to work best. So now I'm adding a little bit of a unique pen to the poofy things because I thought it added some details. There are a lot of special pens in Clip Studio Paint that can add like lace or ruffles or unique lighting, and I wanted to experiment with those a little bit. I think now we're getting to a point where you can kind of see my vision and how I want this to look. Like you can see the colorfulness that's just exploding out of this picture. So I'm coloring in that little heart on her bow, and I'm adding some sparkles in it. In the end, I decided to not add it because it just kind of seemed a little bit boring. Anyway, now I'm coloring in the area underneath the bow because, I can't just leave it plain white or gray, can I? So now I'm just coloring that in, being careful. Now I'm just trying to figure out what color I should use next. With so many colors in the rainbow, it's kind of tricky to figure out which one I want to use next because I don't want any color to be left behind. Every single one needs to be used. So I'm adding red on one side of the bow and pink on another. And now I'm figuring out which color I want to use next. I'm using cyan or light blue for another area of the dress. Just trying not to color into the bows because that would just be a little bit inconvenient to me. And now I'm coloring in that glove, just, trying not to color outside of the lines because, again, that would be pretty inconvenient and just, I hate it. So now I'm coloring in her nails the same color as the gloves because I just thought some visual cohesiveness might be nice. I want this picture to have a lot of controlled chaos. So now I'm just figuring out what I want to do next. I'm coloring in that little collar around her neck. And now I am coloring in the little bow. I shifted my attention to that little collar because it's so cute. Anyway, so now I'm coloring in that little bow, just, giving it a plain green because I thought it would be cute. Now an orange with that other bow. Anyway, now I'm getting down to the little necklace, not necklace, bracelet, and I experimented with a little bit of a gradient to just add a little bit more detail. Now I'm coloring in that star on her poofy sleeve, and now I'm deciding what color I want to use for the little ruffles in between the sections of her dress. I decided to go for a little bit of a light red. It's not exactly a pink, but it's just kind of some kind of spot in between red and pink, if that makes sense. Anyway, so I experimented with adding a little bit of a rainbow gradient to it, but in the end, I decided not to do that. I decided to give her shoes two mismatched colors because I just think shoes that are two separate colors are so cool. I have no idea how she walks in those heels because of that little pointy heart tower thing. It looks really cool, but I can't imagine how she walks or runs or dances or functions in those. But if she's able to find a way to do that, then go for it. So now I'm just coloring in the final ruffles, and now moving on to just coloring in the skin. This is usually a finishing step for me, but it's also a very important one. You don't want to just give a character the same color as your background. So I'm coloring in the arms and the skin. That's the same thing. Anyway, now I'm moving on to the hand, and once I'm done with this, I can move on to coloring in the eyes and the facial expression because, also pretty important. So I decided to give her a rainbowy gradient for her eyes because I thought that would be really adorable. So we're going in with orange, now is yellow, then green, blue, and purple because that's how the rainbow works, and it came together so nicely, and I'm just in love with those eyes. Oh my goodness. Now I'm coloring in her face and her mouth. Now I'm getting the white area of her eyes. I always forget what the name for it is. Now I'm moving on to coloring over the line art, and I wanted to just give this a plain old just rainbow gradient to it, because I thought that would be just really be a really cute detail. Once I was done with that, though, I moved on to the eyes, and I decided to give a bit of a gradient to this part too. I went for a cyan, and then a bit of a green and purple. I don't know. Anyway, once I was done with that, I could get on to the rendering. Okay. So I was experimenting a little bit with what I wanted to do here. None of my options seemed to really work out very well, though, so I took a little bit of experimentation. I was experimenting with different options, but eventually I found something that worked. I think this turned out pretty well, though. So, yeah. I just did a little bit more experimentation to figure out what opacity I want for the rendering. Then I found an option that looked really nice. I added my watermark, and we were done. Here we go. I added the background off camera because it was a little bit boring, and I adjusted the rendering a little bit. But here it is, the finished product. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end, and if you have any ideas for what I should name this adorable character, please let me know in the comments below, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please consider subscribing or giving this video a like or a comment if you enjoyed it. So I'll see you again soon. Bye!